Alrighty, everyone. We are definitely live. We are live today. The 5th episode of the KingVic show. How's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody's nights going? I am super stoked for this next installment in this episode. Let's turn my gate down. There we go. That's better. Now y'all can hear me talk at all times. Okay. So go down. All right, everybody. Welcome to the KingVic show, episode 5. We're going to be talking about 2 missing children. The episode title name is I Am Missing. We're going to be talking about Hannah Montgomery and Summer Wells. Hannah Montgomery has been missing for 2 years now. 3 years? 3 years. She first went missing in 2019, I believe it was, and she's still missing. And then Summer Wells went missing last year, so we're going to talk about her as well. First and foremost, so go ahead into the description of the video and go and follow, or go to the Linktree link. It's going to bring you to the new Linktree I made. It'll have all of the ways to get a hold of me, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, 2 Discord servers, and then the ways you can listen to this podcast if you're not watching it. It's Apple Podcast, no longer on Podbeam, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor. Those would be the 3 places you can see me at, or hear me at. Not see me at, you're looking at me right now if you're watching this video. If you're listening in the podcast world, you're listening to me, go in the show description, in the show notes, and you'll see it down there. I will have also the links to everything I used in either the description here on YouTube or over in the show notes on Apple Podcast, Anchor, or Spotify. So let's get jumping into this. Welcome to the 5th episode of this new podcast that's still going. Today we're going to be talking about missing children and bring awareness to this. I want to bring light to something that most news outlets are not talking about. If you're watching it on local news and you're living in New Hampshire, or I think it's Tennessee, you'll see it there, but you're not going to see it across the world or across the nation. So before we start, hit that like button, spam that subscribe button. It's free up here on YouTube. If you're in the podcast world listening to this, go ahead, leave me a rating, a review, hit the subscribe button. It's definitely free in either world. Yeah, leave me that rating. Leave me 5 stars. Leave me that 5 stars. But let's jump right into it now. So, Hannah Montgomery, that's who we're gonna start with. She's from New Hampshire. She was born June 7th, 2014 to parents Adam Montgomery and Crystal Soray. She was missing since September 2019. She's about 4 feet tall, weighs around roughly 50 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. She wears glasses because of a visual impairment in her right eye. Her right eye, she is blind. So here is the start of the timeline. Just like always, I'll give you my bits as we go along. Her father, Adam, pleads guilty and to charges of larceny, carrying a firearm without a license, and discharging said firearm within 500 feet of a building in an armed robbery in which he allegedly shot a man in the head. At this time, Summer was around 4 months old. Adam received 18 months behind bars, and this is according to the Essex County Attorney's Office. So we're going to skip a bunch ahead now. 2018, Crystal Soray loses custody of Harmony in Massachusetts. This is part due to struggles with substance abuse. Harmony bounces around from foster homes, and anybody that knows anything about foster homes, a lot of the times, some of the times, the living conditions aren't the greatest. Sometimes they're perfectly fine. It all just depends on what type of situation you're getting into. February 22nd, 2019, Harmony's father, Adam, secured custody of Harmony and took her out of the Massachusetts foster care. Great that happened, but why are we giving custody to a guy that went to jail for 18 months after shooting somebody in the head? We already seen that he has aggression. So why are we putting a child in this situation? It makes zero sense why we're doing that. Like, you saw the signs. This guy has an aggressive history already. Why? Around April 21st, 2019, Crystal Soray, Harmony's biological mother, speaks with Harmony via FaceTime call for the last time. She later told investigators that Harmony seemed frightened during that call. So this leads me to believe that there was some abuse going on at that point, which we'll get into later on. June 7th, 2019, Blair and Jonathan Miller begin fostering Jameson. Jameson is Harmony's younger brother. They say, or Jonathan Miller says while speaking with Fox News, the first day that Jameson was with them, he asked where Harmony was going to be going to sleep, which that's totally heartbreaking. Like, come on. We're going to bring it to July of 2019. Adam allegedly punches Harmony in the face, leaving her with a black eye. Police were not told about this until 2 years later. According to an arrest affidavit released on January 5th, 2022, Kevin Montgomery, who is Adam's uncle, told police about the incident in December of 2021. According to him, 2 other family members knew about the black eye. These were Adam's wife, Kayla Montgomery, and his brother, Michael. And this is all according to the affidavit. I will put the affidavit in the show notes or in the description after this goes up. So if people knew about this in 2019, saw it happen, like, y'all should have called the cops. If anything happened to this little girl and the father is the cause of it, y'all are just as much the cause of this too. Like, y'all should have said something to police earlier than 2 years later. Come on, do better. August 16th, 2019, the Millers meet with Harmony's biological mother, Crystal, for the first time. They offer to adopt Harmony if the need ever arises. This is according to Jonathan Miller. They discuss Jameson's strong bond with Harmony and exchange numbers with Crystal and remain in regular contact. They follow up on Harmony and provide updates on Jameson. They also frequently said it to connect the siblings over FaceTime, but each time Soray told them Adam wasn't answering. So the father wasn't answering. They were trying to get hold of him so that way she could FaceTime with her brother. So already we're seeing a lot of shady shit. June 2021, around the time of Harmony's 6th birthday, Soray tells the Millers she hasn't been able to reach Adam or her daughter. July of 2020. Oh, that was June of 2020, not 21. July of 2020, the Millers again make it clear that they are willing to adopt Harmony if there is ever a need. Now we're going to skip ahead. March 7th of 2021, Jameson asks his adopted parents if they can adopt Harmony. He tells them, I want to call her a Miller too. This is from Jonathan Miller, his adopted father, saying this. March 21st of 2021, Kayla Montgomery, who is Harmony's stepmom, takes the three children she shares with Adam and moves them into her mother's apartment due to domestic violence on her from her husband, Adam Montgomery. According to the request for a restraining order, her mother filed a month later. So she didn't even file it. Her mother filed it. She moves into her mother's house to get away from Adam. So we already know he's got a violent past. and apparently he's being accused of domestic violence. I didn't see anything really of him going to jail for it earlier when taking all this down, but I believe it's somewhere later on. In June of 2021, with Harmony's 7th birthday approaching, the Millers are still sending pictures of Jameson to Soray and asking about the girl's whereabouts. She tells them that on the child's birthday, she woke up crying and said she wished her ex would stop avoiding her. The Millers celebrated Harmony's birthday with cupcakes and sang happy birthday, but yet they had still not met the girl. So they did this more than likely for Jameson and to celebrate Harmony, but they still hadn't met Harmony at this point. July 2nd, 2021, Adam shows up at his estranged wife's mother's house. This is where Kayla was sheltering her children. He tapped on the window that they were at, and her new boyfriend later claimed to have found a steak knife outside the window. Then Kayla's mother filed for another restraining order. July 29th, 2021, Crystal Soray tells the Millers that she finally found Adam, but he immediately blocked her on social media, and this is according to Jonathan Miller. In September 2021, Jonathan Miller said that Soray told him she's made contact with one of Adam's aunts, and the aunt told her that she hadn't seen Harmony since some point in 2019. Doesn't give a specific date, just says some point in 2019. If we remember, the last time that Crystal had saw her through FaceTime was in June of 2019. Shortly after this conversation, she also saw Adam posting a lot of his belongings on Facebook. So the aunt sees Adam posting a lot of stuff that he owns on Facebook. September 16th, 2021, the Millers try to get in contact with Adam and Kayla via Facebook, but they have no luck. I kind of wonder if Adam and Kayla know who the Millers are, because I couldn't find anywhere to see who the father was of Jameson, whether it was Adam or it was somebody different. I'm going to go ahead and guess, since Harmony was someone he wanted around all the time, they might be brother, sister, not like a stepchild or anything, or just a child from a different parent. November 16th, 2021, Soray discusses filing a missing persons report with the Millers. Why hadn't she already done that? Like, we're already 2 years after the last time you FaceTimed with her and you haven't filed a missing persons report. You can't get your ex to answer any calls. He's blocked you on everything. He's not keeping you in the loop with anything with your daughter. But you wait 2 years to file a missing. You wait 2 years, not even to file a missing persons report. You wait 2 years to talk to somebody about maybe filing a missing persons report. You gotta do better. November 18th, 2021, Manchester school officials reveal that there is no record of Harmony being enrolled there. Soray posted she repost a missing persons report, or she does a missing persons report to the Manchester PD. The Mills also offer to take Harmony into emergency foster care if it is needed. So we don't know where she is, but they're still wanting to take her in. December 27th, 2021, New Hampshire Division of Children notified police that they are unable to locate Harmony. As a result, police officially open an investigation into her whereabouts and discover she hadn't been seen since October or November of 2019. At that time, she was supposed to be in her father's care. Once again, she's in her father's care, and her father's violent, as we've already talked about. So December 29th, 2021, Soray sends a letter to Massachusetts, what the hell am I thinking? Manchester Mayor Joyce Craig, saying she planned to go to the media and pleading for help. Soray says she was supposed to be in the first grade. He never enrolled her into the school this whole time. She missed important doctor's appointments she had since she was a baby due to her disability in her eye. And we're going to fast forward December 30th. So the next day, Adam's brother and uncle tell police they have concerns about Harmony's welfare. Kevin, who is the uncle, said at the time of the alleged 2019 assault, this is where Harmony gets a black eye. On 2019 assault, he saw Harmony with a black eye. He told police that his nephew told him. I bashed her. So let me go back on this. Kevin tells police that his nephew told him, I bashed her around the house as punishment after her little brother started crying. He also told police he hadn't seen his nephew or Harmony since a few months after that incident. So we're already 2 years later after the incident happened. December 31st. So the very next day again, Kayla, the estranged wife of Adam, tells police she last saw Harmony at the end of 2019, where her husband said he was dropping her off with her biological mother, Soray. Police say the couple's 3 other children were all present and accounted for. Kayla also told police she saw Harmony with a black eye in 2019 and that her husband allegedly blamed it on one of the other kids. Also, police finally find Adam and his new girlfriend sleeping in a car. Police question Adam. He allegedly gave them contradictory stories and statements. First claiming to have recently spoken with Harmony, and then backtracking to say the last time was when he claimed, or the last time he spoke with her, what he claimed Soray picked Harmony up around Thanksgiving 2019. Soon after that, he allegedly stopped answering questions and told investigators, I have nothing else to say. If I'm not under arrest, I'm leaving. Manchester police publicly declares Harmony a missing child and asks for help from the public. So now we're going to get into this year. January 2nd, 2022. Manchester Police Chief Alan Aldenberg holds a news press conference asking for the public to come forward with any tips that can help find Harmony. He announced a 24-hour police hotline to be manned by detectives for anyone with information that may crack the case. 2 local businesses and the Manchester Crimeline offer a reward of $12,500 for information that brings Harmony home. So cool that we got 2 local businesses and the Manchester Crimeline to bring money into this, to bring the girl home. It shouldn't honestly take money to bring her home. It should be people doing this out of the kindness of their heart or doing it because it's the right thing to do. But I've got a feeling that something happened with her father, and we'll get into that a little bit later. January 4th, 2022, police arrest Adam in connection with the alleged black eye and on child welfare charges. The search for Harmony is still ongoing. The reward is increased to $33,000 and continues to climb. January 5th, 2022, Adam waived his bail hearing and agrees to be held in preventative detention at the Hillsborough County House of Justice. A judge grants his petition for a public defender. Then on January 6th, estranged wife Kayla has charges announced against her for welfare fraud. She is accused of collecting food stamps on behalf She's accused of collecting food stamps on behalf of Harmony until July 2021, despite not having seen her since November 2019. So, homie, why are you sitting there trying to collect food stamps on a girl you haven't seen for almost 2 years? Like, I know people want to scam the system. You're going to get more food stamps for the more children you have. But if you haven't saw that girl since 2019, or at least that's what you claim, then why are you collecting on her? There's no reason for you to be collecting on her. The only reason you could be collecting on her, or the only reason you will be collecting on her, is because you know something's wrong and you're a devious person. Otherwise, you would have stopped back when you didn't see her. And you're not the parent of her, nor were you you were never legally a parent of this girl. Why are you collecting food stamps? Like, come on, you've got 3 other children. You don't get enough. That's the thing that's broken with these systems like that, where people can scam them so easily. But this also falls under, hey, if somebody would have said something earlier than 2021, this lady would have been caught earlier than that. So we're going to go ahead and go into January 12th, 2022. Prosecutors announced additional charges against Kayla while downgrading 1 count of felony welfare to a misdemeanor and adding a charge of felony theft by deception. Manchester police also announced that a reward for information on Harmony's whereabouts has risen to $104,000, and they have received more than 300 tips in the case. Police Chief Alan Aldenberg said in a statement, "I would hope that wouldn't take money for somebody to do the right thing, but people have different motivations in their life, or different motivators in their life. So if money is one of them, then come forward with some relevant and viable information and let us know." Which, from what I've been reading, they haven't had any viable or credible information brought to them. Now we're going to go to June 14th, 2022. Investigators begin searching an apartment formerly used by Adam and Kayla. They were seen carrying out evidence, including an entire refrigerator. I believe this refrigerator also had biohazard tape on it. And they were searching around a manhole cover outside. The current tenant, only known as Ginger, told Boston 25 News that investigators took the fridge, doorknobs, and faucets and replaced them with all new ones. She said they also looked closely in the bedroom and closet and cut out bathroom drywall to examine the pipes. The police in Harmony's hometown of Manchester, New Hampshire, arrested her father, Adam, on child abuse and endangerment charges in connection with the 2019 incident that left Harmony partially blind with a black eye. He also failed to divulge her whereabouts to authorities when they contacted him the previous week. The affidavit will be in the description for people watching on YouTube, and those listening in the podcast world, they'll be in the show notes, which is basically the description. It'll be underneath basically the play button when you're listening to this. According to News Nation's Brian Enton, he said on June 14th that it was unclear whether there would be any updates that day about what they found and if it's connected, if this all evidence is connected to Harmony. FBI stayed at the apartment well into the night. The reason for this, per the New Hampshire Attorney General's office, in order to protect the integrity of ongoing investigation. Officials will not be disclosing what items are being sought and what, if any, evidence is located. That refrigerator, like I said before, that the FBI took out of the apartment and put into a truck, was wrapped in biohazard tape. Officials also caution against any speculation related to items being removed, and that's from the New Hampshire Attorney General's office. Investigators were also seen using cameras to search the sewer system in front of the apartment. Brian Enton also reports that Crystal Soiree always had suspicion that address could be involved She also had not received any update from police, but in her heart, she told Brian she no longer believes Harmony is alive, which honestly, that's exactly what I think too. I do not believe this little girl is alive. I think her dad is a monster and really shouldn't be called a father. But I believe he's a monster and he needs to be locked up for this. I think he is the reason why she is not alive any longer. It's just sad. I mean, you got a little girl that's no longer alive. And I think this is like, it is just my speculation. I don't know anything, but I think we have a Casey Anthony type situation here where, well, let me not. I think we have a situation that's similar to that, but I think it's his abuse and everything like that, that the girl couldn't take it anymore. But this is definitely a horrible situation, and it leaves me feeling that that last statement I read to you may be true. I have to wonder, why was Harmony put back in the care of her father after he was released from jail? He was put in jail after shooting someone in the head. What makes you believe that that person is going to be able to raise a child? I honestly don't get it. I understand she bounced around from foster home to foster home. Sometimes foster homes may not be the best thing for a child, but New Hampshire thought the father was going to be a better choice after shooting a man in the head after an armed robbery. That perplexes me. Like, where did you think this dude was going to be the best option for the care of this girl? He was never going to be the best option with it. It's ridiculous that they thought he was going to be the best option, and he wasn't. And I think they know that now, and this is where states need to do better on stuff like this, because when you're dealing with a child, there needs to be a little bit more caution. Well, not a little bit, it needs to be a lot more caution when it comes to it. Now, I'm going to leave you guys with this on this case itself, and we're going to move on to the next one. Leave your opinions in the comments and let's chat about it. Like I said, go to the Linktree link in the description or in the show notes, and go ahead and join one of the discords. We can talk about it in the KingVic podcast discord, or like I said, leave a comment in the chat here in YouTube if you're watching this after, or I believe you can leave a comment in the reviews. I'm not 100% sure about that, but if you do have any information about this case or know the whereabouts of Harmony Montgomery, please call the 24-hour hotline. It's 1-603-203-6060. And like I said before, my notes for this all came from, or sources for this all came from Brian N of News Nation on Twitter, and then Fox News via the Fox News website. So now we're going to get into the next one. Just give me one sec. I think I made a mistake. Totally did. But nothing you guys got to worry about. So the next case that we are going to talk about is Summer Wells. Now she is another missing child. She went missing last year. She is from Rogersville, Tennessee, born on February 4th, 2016 to parents Candace Bly and Donald Wells. This one's going to be a whole totally different story, where with the other one, I honestly think the father had something to do with it. This one, I really don't think the parents had anything to do with this one. So June 15th, 2021. So literally, what? where 5 plays the 25th. So a year and 10 days ago. Summer was reported around, or it was reported around 6:30 p.m. that Summer was missing. She was last seen outside her home in Beach Creek. Agencies searched through the night for her, and a massive search was going to begin during daylight in the next morning. With the steep and dangerous terrain. All right, hold on. According to Captain Tim Coop of the Churchill Rescue Squad, with the steep and dangerous terrain, we're also experiencing very dense canopy coverage, including very dense ground around, causing search efforts to be very difficult. Summer's father speaks with the news channel and says that he believes a bad person grabbed her. And then daily media briefings occur for the next 10 days after this. June 17th, 2021, the search expands to cover a 1-mile radius surrounding Summer's home and more than 100 people participating. On June 18th, 2021, the search grows to 41 agencies covering over 100 acres of land. On June 22nd, 2021, a Kingsport man offers a $25,000 reward for information leading to Summer's recovery/discovery. So this is just a person stepping forward and just $25,000, whoever knows where she is. June 24th, 2021, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation spokesperson Leslie Earhart said, while every case is different, this one is definitely outside of the norm. Typically in an investigation like this one, we have some idea of where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. The statement was the final press conference for the TBI. So this one was the final. They would say more later on, but this is the final press conference that they would have. On June 26, 2021, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation starts looking for a late model red Toyota Tacoma pickup that was last seen in the area near where Summer disappeared. June 27th, the search efforts are scaled back. They're not stopped, but they are scaled back. June 28th, 2021, News Channel, I think it's News Channel 12, hears from Summer's mother, Candace, for the first time. She says Summer has been missing for 2 weeks at this point. She also says, me and my mother and her were planting flowers, and we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from grandma. Also, it's News Channel 11. So this is Bly telling News Channel 11 in her first on-camera interview. She also says, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers, and I said okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch. I watched her as she walked into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. I told the boys, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said she went downstairs. She went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said okay, and I yelled downstairs for her a couple of times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because she usually always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. Bly also tells News Channel 11 she believes Summer had been abducted. She also said, whoever has my daughter, I pray they haven't harmed her and they bring her back to us safe and sound. July 26, 2021, Summer's brothers are removed from the home by Department of Child Services. October 12th, 2021, the reward for Summer Wells grows to $40,423.81. More than 100 days after his daughter's disappearance, Summer's father, Don Wells, wanted to speak with News Channel 11. That's on October 4th. Wells said he was not pleased with the expiration set for the reward. The father of Summer Wells says he didn't He does not want the reward fund to expire. In exclusive interview, I feel bad for Summer. He says, I don't know why they set it up like that. So yeah, you don't want it to expire, but everybody's motive, just like the last case with the police chief saying, like, you shouldn't have motivation. You shouldn't want motivation to come forward to bring light to what might have happened, or if you know what had happened. You shouldn't need motivation for that. You should be doing that out of the kindness of your heart, but everybody has ulterior motives, and a lot of times money will solve that. The same day, so we're still October 12th, the Church Hill Rescue Squad's reward fund was extended into the following year, so it extends into this year, into 2022. The family also starts a YouTube channel on October 12th, which was created in conjunction with findsummerwells.com. I'm going to put that website into the description and into the show notes. Who said this? So Don Wells said, I hope and pray to God we can find our daughter. We can't thank you enough. And he says this on a YouTube video that was posted on October 13th. He also says there's nothing we can do to thank y'all enough, but just to thank you and praise our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. On October 31st, Don Wells is arrested for DUI. The very next day, on November 1st, 2021, while in court for the DUI, Wells is arrested for a violation of probation. He was later released on a recognizance bond. I believe a recognizance bond is a bond that you post your own bail on. Let me look that up real quick. Should have probably looked that up before I did this, before I started. A recognizance bond means that you're released. Oh, okay, never mind. It means you're released from jail without posting bond, so that you don't have to spend weeks or months behind bars while waiting a court case. So that is what a recognizance bond is, if you didn't know. It looks like they give people that don't have a violent crime. On that same day in court, News Channel 11 learned a gag order had been issued for the Child Protective Services case involving the other Wells children. Don Wells also said, he goes on to say, I have to stay off YouTube, the YouTube thing, or be very careful about it if I do anything on YouTube from now on, because I have lost control. And he says this in an interview from November 9th, 2021. He also says, I've done stupid things, and for that I apologize. I'm trying to be right, focus on our church and the things that our family are focused on, the things like our family and stuff that we enjoy so much. The TBI tweeted on November 10th that the agency had an uptick in misinformation surrounding the Summer Wells case, adding that the agency had executed search warrants and collected potential digital evidence. The agency told the public to stick with the facts, all of which can be found on the TBI's Summer Wells newsroom webpage. Then Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said the department receives calls daily regarding the Summer case. November 11th through November 12th, Don and Candace appear on Dr. Phil. They appear on the Dr. Phil show. Dr. Phil says he doesn't believe the couple hurt Summer. Look, dude, they're on your show one day, and what Dr. Phil shows, what, an hour, maybe 2 hours? Like, you think you're gonna learn about people? I mean, I honestly don't think they did anything to their daughter. I do think it was a kidnapping. But dude, come on. That's why I hate that show. Like, this dude thinks he knows everything about everything, and I'm just not a fan. On November 30th, 2021, Hawkins County Sheriff's Department and the TBI conduct a routine search for Summer in the Beach Creek area. January 2022, Police reports surfaced of protesters showing up at a construction site where Don Wells and Candace Blair were working. No arrests were made and no charges were listed. Candace says in tears, it's scary for sure. I mean, she was shaking and all that. She was scared. Don Wells told News Channel 11. The Kingsport Police Department was also told that a YouTuber had filmed a child inside the church that the Wells family was attending. That's kind of weird. Like, why are you filming children? February 4th, 2022. This is Summer's 6th birthday. We're coming together in honor of her and just celebrating her and just coming all together and praying for her and having a special prayer, especially this week of her birthday, said Haley Justine Thompson, the assistant executive director of Awaken Ministries, at a community-led prayer vigil on in observance on February 1st. February 9th, 2022, Don is sentenced to 11 months and 29 days with the possibility of probation at 180 days and the attendance of a 28-day alcohol rehab program. March 1st, 2022, HCSO and TBI conduct a planned search in the Beach Creek area. April 2022, the lead investigator for the case spoke on camera for the first time in April, saying they are no closer to finding answers than they were on June 15th of the previous year. We've gone through hours and hours of interviews, video footage, electronic data, just trying to find a specific direction to go in towards. And I can't talk today. Nothing has narrowed that down, said Detective John Pruitt with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. So everything's, as the sheriff has said, is still on the table. That same month, in April, the district attorney general also spoke out about the case, discussing his role as no one has been charged or arrested in her disappearance. It's a case that has implications for the legal system and the law, but you couldn't classify it right now, said Don Armstrong. There are no criminal charges that have been filed. Even though he stays in touch with law enforcement about where they're at in the investigation, Armstrong is almost at a standstill in his particular role. If an arrest ever does take place, that's when he'll step in. Despite thousands of tips since June 15th, 2021, the search for Summer Wells continues. June 15th, 2022, Summer is still missing, and there are ongoing Amber Alerts. I don't believe there's anything else to go with this. I believe she is still missing. Yeah, it's 1 year after she's still missing. They're asking people to call the TBI with any information. They're putting out endangered child alerts. The TBI also on their Twitter page put out an endangered child alert, saying we need your help to find 4-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells, missing from Rogersville. If you see her, please call the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at 423-272-7121 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Those two numbers will be in the description or in the show notes. On June 16th, authorities issued an Amber Alert for Summer on Summer's behalf. They thought she was in immediate danger. They were up to 2,200 TBI officials that were searching for her. There really hasn't been anything else coming up with this one. Just keep this girl in your prayers. And if you know anything, like I said, I gave the numbers out already. If you know anything, give a call to one of those numbers. And try to help find this girl. My sources for this were News Channel 11 in Tennessee and News Nation. Both of those will be in the description of the show note or description of the YouTube video or in the show notes. One other one I'm going to get into briefly here is another missing. This is an adult. I believe he's 18. His name is Dylan Rounds. And this one's kind of in the same boat. He's just older. I saw a lot about this yesterday from Brian Enton on Twitter. But the report, so this is from June 23rd, so 2 days ago. Soon after graduating from high school, Dylan Rounds set out to complete his plan. He wanted to have his own farm, and that's what he was going to do along the Nevada-Utah border when he suddenly vanished. This began on Monday, or Memorial Day, so Monday, May 30th, when they figured out that nobody had seen him for a couple of days, and this is his mother, Candace Cooley. For the past year, Rounds lived in an RV camper on his property in Box Elder County along the Nevada-Utah border. Dylan's been working on his farm in Utah, his own farm, on getting the ground torn out and getting prepared for his crop. This year is going to be his first year, or his first crop. That farm was his whole life. This is from his mother as well. On Memorial Day weekend, his Idaho family traveled to the farm after failing to hear from him. The place was abandoned. They've been searching. Miss Cooley says they've been searching and they've been looking everywhere. Search and rescue came out that first weekend, and we located his boots. The one thing that was weird about that, when they located his boots, they were near his truck, or near his camper. They were the only pair of boots that he owned, and from what I remember, his boots had a little bit of blood on them. She also goes on to say, at that point, it should have been treated as foul play. You just don't see someone's boots in the desert that's missing. On the Box Elder County Sheriff Facebook page, they considered it a missing persons case. They received tips and continue to search the Lucin, a nearby town area. The sheriff's post said his pickup truck was found on his property and he is believed to be on foot. Private investigator Jensen is also looking into the case. He told News Nation during a live stream Wednesday night, the truck is suspicious. Cooley said, despite recent rains before his disappearance, it appeared to not have been moved, raising more suspicions. Like she says, it's like it never moved in the rain or took it anywhere Saturday, like they originally thought, she said. Wednesday, before he was last seen in nearby Lucin, he told his mother of a man walking barefoot along the road. He said, "Mom, you wouldn't believe this guy who jumped out of the desert," Cooley said. "He was bloody, didn't have any shoes. He wanted a ride. I didn't give him a ride." In Lucin, the family learned the identity of the man, but she said the man called her voluntarily and didn't know where Rounds could be. Jensen sees a room for suspicion in that very act, which that is very suspicious. You're the last person seen when this kid was last talked to. If somebody reaches out because they're innocent or trying to throw off the trail, that leads to them, Jensen said during the live stream. Cooley said the man claimed to have an alibi. She supplied the name to the sheriff. and is unsure whether he's been cleared. She's unsure if authorities feel likewise. I would feel likewise in that situation. This guy comes out of the wood, or comes out of the desert bloody, and asks for a ride. Like, I wouldn't give you a ride. The hell? Search and rescue units from both Box Elder County and nearby Nevada have continued to search the area, but there's still no signs of him. He was so excited when I talked to him Thursday, Cooley recalled. He said, my grain's growing and it's coming up. I'm going to get cropped this year. He was just ecstatic, high on the world, and then just vanished, not a trace. Cooley said they found at least 3 persons of interest on their own. 2 were former employees of Rounds. She forwarded the names to the sheriff's office. Meanwhile, the family has a $20,000 reward for any information that could help solve where Dylan Rounds is. If you have any information, you're asked to call 208-604-3838 or 208-604-3838 or 208-604-3839. This is from News Nation. I will put this in the show notes as well, or in the description. Brian Enton also shows, okay, he's 19. He finally fulfilled his dream to own his own farm, but then went missing. Yeah. He was last seen on 5/26/2020. What? Oh, 5/26/2022 in Montello, Nevada. Last contact with the family was 5/28. 5'9", or 5'10", age 19, 165 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. All Dylan's vehicles were found in the farm, on his farm in Lucin, Utah. Only thing missing from is his wallet and phone. Foul play is suspected. Foul play is suspected. Search parties are being conducted. Please report any information to the Elko County Sheriff at 775-738-3421 or the Box Elder County Sheriff at 435-723-5527. Guys, if you know any information about any of these, go ahead and call one of those numbers. Like I said, the information will be in the description or it'll be in the show notes. Let's find these children, these kids. Now, I do want to talk about one other thing before we end this. So, anybody remembers the Petito case that happened? I believe it was last year. We're going to talk about that real quick. So a lawsuit on January 21st, it was reported a lawsuit was filed by Gabby Petito's parents. And this lawsuit may force Brian Laundrie's parents to reveal how much they knew about Petito's death. If the lawsuit doesn't get thrown out, it could result in a jury trial in 2023. For those that don't know, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie had gone on vacation. They were doing kind of travel around the US kind of thing. And Brian came back to Florida with her van and her not being with him. And then later on we found out she had been killed by Brian. Petito versus Laundrie civil hearing was at 1:30 on June 22nd. Gabby Petito's parents were in the courtroom. Brian Laundrie's parents were not. The Laundrie attorney argued that Brian's parents had no duty or obligation to speak. How about some decency, fuckers? Come on. Petito's attorney says this case is not just about the Laundrie staying silent. He says it is about a course of conduct they committed from the moment they learned Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito. This judge says, what duty, or the judge asks, what duty did the Laundries have to help Gabby Petito's parents? The Petito lawyer responds, it's about what they did with the information they had. Not disclosing the information they had. The Laundries could have made an anonymous phone call about where the body was. So if you guys don't remember, the body was just found, I believe, was it the Grand Canyon? I believe it was. The body was just found. The judge says focus is on legal duty. What duty did the Laundries have? What did they owe Gabby's parents? Petito's attorney says these families were not strangers. They had visited each other's homes, and Gabby and Brian were engaged to be married. So one thing that was said in this too, the Laundrie family came out and said, we hope the search is successful. And the Petito attorney said that was a lie, and that gave false hope to the Petito family because Laundries knew she was dead. Arguments finished. The judge says he will try to make a written decision about whether the case can continue in 2 weeks. So that was on January 22nd. So we're looking the first week of June or July to see what that is, or to see his thoughts on it and whether the case is going to go through. Also from News Nation, the judge is going to decide whether the family has enough evidence to pursue legal action against Brian Laundrie's family. It raises the question, is a parent obligated to report a crime committed by their child? My personal opinion, yes. You should. It's just being a decent human being. Like, come on. So Brian Enton says over on Twitter, what did the Laundries know, and when did they know Gabby Petito was dead during the search? The Laundrie family attorney Steve Bertolino won't say whether or not the Laundries knew Gabby Petito was dead during the time of the search. Perhaps someday I can tell you what Brian knew, but none of that is going to happen tonight on the show that Brian Enton had him on. And if you don't remember, right after Brian Laundrie got home to his house in Florida, he went missing and he went dead, and his parents didn't know where he was. Personally, I think that's a bunch of crap. I think they knew the entire time that he was dead, because it was a month later that they found his body, and they found his bag. And the Laundrie family also was seen with a bag, and nobody could find evidence in that area where this bag was found. It was like a waterproof bag, I believe, like a bag you would bring out to the marsh. The bag was found by the mother after people had already searched in the area before. So Steve Bertolino, the Laundrie family attorney, says we have no regrets. The parents did everything the right way, and they have no regrets. We are very comfortable with they are very comfortable with the decisions they made. So Pat, the Petito family attorney, Patrick Riley, he says, I'll say it is really an interesting position to say the olive branch wasn't reached out and they should talk. That is absurd. The time for the Laundries to talk was last year when Gabby was missing, which I completely agree about. They should have said something back then. It shouldn't have come out. They shouldn't be wanting to talk about it a year later. So then you've got the note that was left from from Brian. So we're gonna go over that real quick. So it's his notebook confession of where he admits he ended Gabby's life. Here we go. I wish I was right at your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made. Dating even more exotic for the future. Ooh, so this note, I really can't read too much of it because it was like, it was in that bag that was left in the water. He basically just goes on to talk about how he has fond memories with her. And it's like, well, if you had fond memories with her, why'd you kill her? If he says, if you were reading Gab's journal, looking at photos from our life together, flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her, knowing that every day you'll wake up without her. You would want to make up. I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I can't read that. He says, I'm very, very sorry to her family because I love them. Well, if you loved them, you wouldn't have killed their daughter, buddy. He just goes on to talk more about Gabby, and he calls it an unexpected tragedy, rushing back to our car, trying to cross the streams. And he just goes on. It looks like a bunch of bull crap. Where I'm at. So we're at 5 now. He said, I pulled Gabby out of the water. She couldn't tell me what hurt. All she had is a small bump on her forehead that continually got larger. Her feet hurt. Her wrist hurt. But she was freeing, or she was flailing around violently. While carrying her, she continually made sounds of pain. She was begging for an end to her pain. She would fall asleep, and I would choke her awake. How do you choke somebody awake? Fearing she shouldn't. He was fearing that she wouldn't wake back up. She would wake up in pain, start telling what's painful. Again, I wish this was all better or all more preserved, but it's not. It's on a little notepad. And like I said, it's all wet and everything. All right. So the very last page, I can definitely read this. I've killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart, that it may make some of her family happy. Please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people who litter. So honestly, dude, like, I've killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart, that it may make some of her family happy. No, dude, get the fuck out of here. It's not going to make her family happy that you're gone. You took your own life after you took hers. What would have made the family happy is seeing you rot in jail, not you taking your own life because you couldn't deal with it anymore. Like that, how selfish of you. Like, deal with what you did. I'm at a loss for words with this. Like, and I fully think the parents knew what happened. I fully think the parents knew what happened with him after the fact. I think they knew where his body was. I think they knew where his bag was. Like, how other ways is the mother the one that finds it? So with this case, we'll go over more. Ooh, hold on. Okay, so Brian Enton was at the spot where Gabby was killed. It's right next to the creek Laundrie referenced in his letter, and the creek is next to where the van was parked. The van was right there. If she was really hurt, why not take her to a hospital or call someone? Brian Enton reports that he had cell service in the spot where Gabby Petito was found. He also says that Lewis, which is I believe somebody from his crew, told him that the cell service was in fact good. They were able to stream a blog on YouTube from that spot, and he was using a video to pinpoint exactly where the van was. So you had a cell phone, you could have called 911, you could have got somebody out to help her if she was in that much pain, but you left her there, took her van, and ran back home. You could have called. You could have did something to potentially save her life, but you didn't. Brian Enton also reports he just interviewed the Petito attorney. He says to his surprise, when he showed up to the FBI to get evidence, there was a letter from Roberta Laundrie to Brian. He says she wrote, "Burn this after reading." What it said and the convo is going to be on News Nation. But that's damning right there as well. The letter to Brian, he says she wrote, "Burn this after reading." And then there's at least one other confession from Brian Laundrie, possibly two. According to the attorney for the Petito family, one we are told is on a digital device. Wow, there's proof even more. There's an interview with the Petito attorney, Patrick Riley. He says Roberta Laundrie wrote Brian a letter and to burn it after reading. He says there is an offer for Roberta to assist her son. If you go to jail, I'll bake a cake and put a saw in it. He says Gabby referenced. Brian Enton texted the Laundrie attorney, Steve Bertolino, asking him about this letter. He responded, "I do know it's a movie," and what she wrote on the cover of a letter to Brian many months before the trip had the title of the movie on there. Yeah, a couple of months after that. Right. So there's a notebook. There's a letter. The notebook's one of those little flip notebooks that you can write little notes in. And there's a letter from the mother. The Laundrie family knows more than what they're trying to let on. Obviously the attorney's going to try to defend them so that way they don't have to go to court, but I think this should go to court. Hopefully it does. I want to know more of what's going to come out of this. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about your opinion on the Harmony Montgomery case. Let me know what your opinion is on the Summer Wells one, whether you think, for the first one, whether you think the father was at fault, whether you think he did something. The second one, whether you think the parents are innocent or not, whether you think it's somebody kidnapped a girl. And then, like I said, call those numbers if you have any information. Then let me know what you think about the Dylan Rounds one. That one's a strange one. There's more information going to be coming out. And then also let me know what you think about this Gabby Petito thing. I'll probably do an update, do a little mini show episode when there's more information that comes out, or I might just wait until the end when this thing goes to trial and put something out then. guys, you have a great night. In 2 weeks from now, yes, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be doing the first true crime episode. We are going to be going with Ted Bundy on the first episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting. You're still going to get the KingVic show with more news next week. I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that. I'll be doing research for that. I'll be doing research for the Ted Bundy. I'm going to try to do a true crime episode every 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to go Bundy first, then I think Gacy, then we're probably going to wind up doing, who's the other one? Bundy, Gacy, Jack the Ripper. There's one on Miss Dahmer. We're going to go deep dive into some crazy minds. The Zodiac will be on there too. But guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave some comments, come interact with me over Discord, leave that review in the podcast world, and y'all have a great night.